Hello. So initially I had planned to talk about the compounding effect with manifestation and abundance when you are already in a place of abundance. But I'm not going to talk about that today because I am not in the headspace to talk about it. And also I do believe that when I do talk about certain things here on my IG Live, I come out and I say like what I'm feeling in the moment, whether it's feeling in a good place to guide you and hold space for that, or is it like to tell you what's going on in my life and like basically what I'm going through and relating that in guidance for you as well. And basically the past 24 hours, I really had to navigate a lot of uncertainty and a lot of unknown and a potential shift in change of plans of the future, which has challenged me in a space of, how do I explain this? Like, it was like almost like this plan that I had I had this plan and it wasn't like super solid, but it was like promising, right? It was promising. It was like a promising opportunity. And I had this opportunity and I was like, okay, like this looks good. And it was almost like for me, this like light at the end of a tunnel where like, because I've just, navigated through a lot the past, 3 years, and I'm sure a lot of us have 3 years of really doing deep inner work and shadow work, and especially being here in Tofino, really going into the depths. But now I'm at a place where I'm ready to move away from this, move away from this deep inner shadow work, constant shadow work, so to speak, because that's how it's felt like for the past 2-3 years. It just feels like I haven't had a moment, and I'm just at a place where I'm like, okay, I'm ready to just do things that light me up, ready to be around people that make me happy. And it's I'm ready to take the leap, but it's unknown, it's uncertain, but I'm ready to take the leap. And so then I received a breadcrumb from the universe, and I was like, ooh, okay, here's a landing pad. I don't know how I'm going to make it work, but I'm going to make it work, and here's a landing pad. Well, now that landing pad might not happen, and I don't have a confirmation. I don't know. It's just there's been a little bit of, there hasn't been any communication, and it has definitely challenged me a lot in my patience of wanting to know what I'm doing, especially that, it's something that it potentially will be coming up in the next 2 weeks, but it might not. And it's just and it was also that landing pad was that light at the end of the tunnel. And as much as people say oh, don't use your external circumstances to provide you happiness, when you're in a place that you're not happy with your life of where it's at, or what you're doing on your day-to-day, and you're just okay, I want to make the shifts and the changes in my life now, then yeah, I think that's okay to rely on those shifts and changes of your day-to-day circumstances to give you that hope, that light at the end of that tunnel, that desire to go for the thing you want. And so that's kind of what I've been doing. Obviously I'm grateful for a lot of where I'm currently at. I'm grateful for everything that's around me, between my housing and I have food in my fridge, my gas tank is good. There's money in my account. There's a lot to be grateful for, but there's also there is this sense of what I'm doing on a day-to-day that is just currently no longer bringing me joy, and I want to shift that, and I want to shift my environment. And so yeah, so I kind of have been focusing a lot on this landing pad, this light at the end of the tunnel. And now it was like not sure if it's happening. And basically the past 24 hours, I felt like that light at that end of the tunnel was getting dim. And I was just like, oh my God, like, what am I going to do? And it was like almost this like sense of recognizing where my thoughts were at. Like holding that duality of like my thoughts being in one place of like the light feels like it's dimming. I don't want to like live the life I'm currently living right now. And I do want to make changes in my life because I'm currently like just not happy right now. And like what if, to get there takes longer, like all these like thoughts that I was just like kind of doubting myself and doubting the universe that this will still happen. And there was this, a coach of mine, that I follow, she once explained that when the coin is in the air, so imagine like the coin, like there's, heads and tails. You put out like a manifestation up in the air and you don't know which side of the coin it's going to land. You don't know if it's going to happen or not happen. But while it's in the air, a lot of the times we already predict how it's going to turn out. And so this is what I felt like I was doing. I was like, oh, the coin is in the air. And all of a sudden I had this these thoughts that were just basically like, this is not going to happen. This is not going to work out. The light of the end of the tunnel is dimming. Like it was very much, but I was so aware of these thoughts. And so I had to like kind of ease myself and ease my ego, still allow myself to sit in the emotions and cry and let it all out, but really think of what I'm thinking of and then shifting that. And so the way I shifted it, because I couldn't go in a sense of like super positive of like, oh, this is going to happen because I don't know. And I just almost like, again, like didn't want to, when I'm in such a low place, kind of flipping on to something of like, oh, this is going to happen, like a very positive, like I find myself like I can't go from one extreme to another. I can just get from like to the neutral point. And so that's what I was doing. And I was like, okay, told myself it's either like whatever this landing pad is, like it's either going to be this or something better. And trusting that whatever is meant to happen, like the universe has my back. So there's a reason why this is all happening, and I'll see it in hindsight and I'll be okay. Like, and it doesn't necessarily mean that, whatever's going to happen, it's going to take a long time to get there. Like that, I'm still making the moves. Like there is everything like is in place for it to all work out. And it was definitely really challenging navigating through that. And then this morning I got a message. There's still uncertainty. I still don't have any answers, but I got a message on a potential other landing pad. So that gave me that, like, that was almost like, gave me a little bit of like the light did not dim anymore. And it was also like, okay, the universe has my back. Universe has my back. The fact of the matter is, like, even though I don't know what's happening with situation A, there might be a situation like a plan B, and the universe is showing me that. So it's showing me that, like, not to lose hope, not to go down this like spiraling of things are not going to happen. And so I think the fact of like the way I navigated my thoughts and the way I've navigated everything yesterday and allowed myself to be how I was, and also being very much aware and shifting into a place of neutrality, allowed for me to harmonize alongside with the universe, and play the symphony at the pace that it's meant to play, right? Because sometimes like the universe will give us signs or will give us like certain scenarios and we don't understand why it's happening. And we may think that like it's not making sense, that this is not the way it's supposed to work. This is not the way it should work. But meanwhile, the universe has this other plan of like for you, a better plan. And so the idea is to play along with that harmony, to really synchronize alongside in that melody that the universe is playing. And so that's what I'm doing. That's just like kind of like in a way what I'm kind of working through. So I'm just very much feeling a little bit better today, and to kind of hop on and be like, how to compound abundance was not something I was feeling for. So I'll see for tomorrow's live. I'm going to do a live on that, because I do believe that it's something that I want to share. Just because also the other thing I've noticed in a lot of times when I ask you a lot of questions, I always focus on, I give you the guidance a lot on the things of like when you're not feeling good, or like when you're on lack. And it's like, it's great that I'm giving you all those guidance, but then there's a lot of people who are like, I feel amazing and I feel abundant. And I feel like I'm kind of like pushing those people aside, and I don't want that. So this is why I want to talk about that. So I will definitely tap into that compounding abundance this week. I definitely would like to do it before the new moon in Capricorn. I think it'll be like just like a nice way to kind of like have that live alongside. Yeah, so I kind of like rambled on a little bit, but I just wanted to share that with you today. I'll keep you posted on what happens on this landing pad. And just right now, just riding the wave of this so-called roller coaster, and synchronizing and harmonizing alongside with the universe, and seeing what happens. Even though right now it's like, I don't know what's going to happen, but it'll be okay. And I trust that everything is for a reason. So hope you have a lovely Sunday, and I'll speak to you all tomorrow. Bye.